Hi everybody, this is Rhys Barber from Audiology Associates. Thanks very much for watching our earwax removal video today. Now I did mention this video before. I said this one was coming up. This was a real painstaking removal. Now, the reason this is such a painstaking removal is a couple of different things really. The first is where the wax is. It is actually scooped along the anterior recess, up then onto the eardrum itself. The second reason, it is hard. It is a mixture of skin, so it's dead keratin, harder material here, and a little bit of wax. And this is all in the most sensitive part of the ear. This lovely, I mean, she was an absolute trooper. She was such a brilliant patient. She had a slight tremor as well, bless her, which becomes a little bit more apparent later on in the video. And you do see that sometimes with patients with tremors. When you've got a bit of suction noise in there, the tremor can sometimes get a little bit worse. You do see that a bit later on in the video. So patient really struggling with their hearing here because this has just welded itself onto the eardrum and the canal wall. I have flooded this ear canal with olive oil, which is what you can see here. And I'm doing that just to try and soften, loosen everything up. Now, the next thing I've got to do, this is the fine end here. The reason I've got in with a fine end, I have to work really closely to the actually bony portion of the ear canal here, which is ultra sensitive. So I'm just trying to peel little bits off. You can see I'm working my way along, probing really this flat piece of wax, looking for any slight slightly looser pieces. So it is coming away really well. Guys, I've still got a bit of a sore throat, so you have to bear with my voice, but it's just coming away well there. Now we're working our way along the side. Now we've loosened this section here on the one side. I'm hoping I can exploit that a little bit and lift it out, because obviously it's going to be jammed down in the recess as well here, and dried into that position as well, so not particularly easy to remove. Now it's not really budging here, so I'm working away. I'm trying to peel the surface layer off, because that's going to be one of the hardest pieces in here. If I can break the surface layer down, if I can expose some of the wax underneath, it means the oil's got a better chance of penetrating and loosening and softening that under layer here. But we've got to be so careful, because we're literally right on top of the eardrum. We're literally taking the wax off the drum, and because of the sensitivity of the canal walls themselves. So yeah, very difficult old removal, this one. There we are, it's just working its way along. You can see I'm hovering literally less than a millimeter above the actual skin of the canal wall. So if you're American, probably just less than a 1/16 of an inch. Now you can see a little bit of dry materials got sucked into the suction tube there. We picked that up on the entrance to the canal. Unfortunately, it was still a bit of suction coming through, but as soon as I get down to the eardrum, it moves position and blocks the end of the suction tube, which is what's happened there. So we're just going to take that out and get rid of it. Okay, let's try somewhere else now. Let's have a look, see if we can move it to a different spot. It's always tough, this type of removal, especially from this depth. I did say on the video the other day, I really thought that this patient had used some cotton buds, which is why this had appeared really deep, but it's not the case. The patient basically just produces this very thick, hard skin material over that eardrum, so that very thick keratin material, and then the wax just adheres to that. She was saying that she has to get her ears cleaned out, usually about every 6 months, at a minimum really. And you can see why, because it would have really caused some hearing issues here. Now just breaking down that top section. So on your side, that's the top right hand side. No, top left hand side, sorry. Mine's reversed on my screen, so I can't see it very well. But we're just breaking some of these looser pieces off the surface, which is great. It's just going to mean that we've got a little bit more leverage then to some of these harder pieces around the edge. Let's work on the top here. Let's see what happens if we start to pull. I can just see where the edge of the wax has just folded over slightly. You can just see I'm exploiting that particular section. There we are, to peel that away. Unfortunately, it's like almost like layers of sort of cornflakes or pastry or something. It's just really, I don't know, spelt two foodstuffs in one sentence there, but it's that sort of layered, that almost laminated, I think they call it, lamination, not laminated, lamination. If you're looking at sort of pastries and stuff like that, it's that kind of consistency where you're peeling layers away. Now there is that little section at the top. Now I'm wondering if I can get, a wall of oil's gone in just to try and loosen everything up. I wonder if I can get that top section moving. Let's give this bottom section one last little go. I'm hoping by this point I can pull up and out of the recess and draw it forwards. But in this case, it doesn't look like it's really budging that well. So let's shift position to the top there. There we are. Now we can see that is starting to peel. It is a little bit more awkward. It's more of a difficult angle to get to, and it's not ideal. It's not the ideal angle for the suction, but it is pulling down. Look how that's coming away from the top. If you're anything like me, and now currently trying to look underneath the suction tube, it doesn't work, guys, I promise. But you can pull down. There we are. Look how thick this keratin layer is that we're peeling away here. Look at that as I start to draw this down. There we go. So we can see that harder, almost sort of a deeper honey color keratin on the top. And then you've got this fresher, softer skin underneath then. So this is the parts of the skin that hasn't sort of died off, has died off, sorry, a little bit more recently. So it's not quite as full of keratin as the surface layer. So it hasn't hardened up quite so much. But you can see how these layers, we talk about that lamination, these layers sort of fold over one another and connect to that very soft base layer, which is still attached to the canal wall. There we go. I'm trying to pull this away. I've got the standard size ulnar tube in here because this time I want to go for power. I want to go for that sort of suction power. I want to hold on to it a lot more. With the fine end, you haven't got that. It's great for detail work and for really fine work, but absolutely pants as far as suction is concerned. It doesn't have a great grip in suction power. By the way, pants isn't a recognised audiological medical term. That's more of a South Walian thing. So we're just sort of peeling this away now. It's just, there we go. Let's get a good grip. Lifting, you can see what I'm trying to sweep, bring it all down from the edges, lift from the base. Let's get all this moving. So back to the fine end now, because I'm repositioning the wax. I'm not looking for suction power here. I'm looking to maneuver the wax into a better position to be able to pull this out. Now I'm trying, excuse me, sorry, my throat's going again. I'm trying to lift that top section to get to the softer layer underneath. When I get to the softer layer underneath, it means you get a better grip, because you imagine a harder layer, that suction tube's going to move over that. There's going to be, it's not a uniform surface as well. It's more lumpy and bumpy on the way, so it doesn't give that really good suction grip. The softer material underneath though, the suction beds into it, gets a good old grip on that then. So there we go, we're starting to peel, it's starting to come away. Fine end again. Now I'm still pulling this out of that recess here, so I'm holding on. This is all about maneuvering the wax. This is all about changing its position. But there we go. We've got a grip now on that softer underbelly, if you like, of the wax and the keratin. Starting to pull this down. This is working its way down here. There we go. I'm trying to be quite gentle with it because it does tend to be a little bit more brittle. It will tend to snap as you pull this away, as it's done there right at the entrance. You can see it left the tail end just at the entrance to the canal. So we're going to pull this piece away as well. There we go. And let's take a look. Ooh, what have we got going on here? There we are. We can see very thin layers. You can see it's very, very thin layers of keratin there, just peeling away. There's a little piece on the drum. Now I want to get rid of that if I can. Let's just work our way. There we go. It jumped off into there. You can see the eardrums. Doesn't look particularly healthy, but this patient gets this problem all the time on their eardrum. Then it's not going to look the cleanest because the dead skin can't shed away. It can't move away from the central eardrum. So we are 1.5, just over 1.5 centimeters. That is 5/8 of an inch, or possibly 11/16. I think. There we are. Well, guys, I forgot to ask you to subscribe. Guys, don't forget what I said about the videos coming out on different days. So make sure you hit that bell on the notification so you get a notification every single time we post a new video. You'll get notified then, so you can take a look at it. Thank you so much for bearing with us. Like I said, this is going to be going on for about 3 or 4 weeks, so bear with us. It's going to take us almost up to waxment. Nearly into the beginning of December. So as always, guys, take care. Oh my God, I'll put my teeth back in. Take care of yourselves, take care of your ears, and take care of one another. And I'll see you again real soon. Bye, everyone.